so it will not go beyond the way it was. Okay, so number two, it reduces complications. Okay, so early diagnosis would prevent the disease from retrogressing. Okay, and it will prevent it from affecting other organs and other systems of the body. For example, if you are being diagnosed of diabetes early enough, and that should be pre-diabetes. When you are being diagnosed early and you tackle it from the root cause, it will prevent you it being from it progressing further. Or even when you are being diagnosed of diabetes early enough, okay, it also helps to prevent complications like kidney failure, like heart disease, high blood pressure, okay. And number three, it would save you a lot of money. Managing diabetes, especially when complications are involved, is not a child's play. You would spend a lot of money. It can even lead to amputation, and eventually it will cost you your life. So these are some of the things that you tend to enjoy or you tend to gain from early diagnosis. Don't forget that diabetes is the main cause or the leading cause of limb amputation, of cardiovascular diseases, high blood pressure, kidney failures, kidney problems, and so forth and so on. So, early diagnosis is key. You don't joke with it, and it cannot be overemphasized. Okay? Local study shows that 11 million people in Nigeria are living with undiagnosed diabetes. What does that mean? People are moving about and they don't know that they're diabetic. This is a time bomb ticking, waiting to explode. Waiting to be, waiting to explode. This is a real danger. And believe me, there are more than that 11 million that is quoted, because there are more people that are pre-diabetic at this stage that are not aware that they are pre-diabetic. Okay? Then there are 22 million to 24 million people currently living with diabetes in Nigeria. And 20, okay? Oh, what am I saying? Sorry, 20 are pre-diabetic, while 11 million are undiagnosed. Yes, that is it. 20 pre-diabetic, 11 million undiagnosed. So you can see the problem that we are facing in Nigeria. And about 30 to 40,000 people die daily, okay, as a result of diabetes, untreated diabetes. And there's a research that says in 2050 that 853 million people would come down with diabetes. That is almost a billion people. 853 million people. That's a lot. That's very, very huge. Okay. And that is why it's good, okay, to detect this on time. Very, very important. Okay. I want to quote Dr. Doyin in his interview with Punch newspaper. He says that diabetes is a slow moving catastrophe in Nigeria. Why? Because of the number of people that are undiagnosed in this country. Okay, so he said, why are we having increased rates of diabetes in this country? Why are we seeing more people coming down with diabetes? He says it is because of our diet, lack of exercise, screening, that's diagnosing it late, not early enough, that we are not as active as our forefathers used to be. Some people would argue that, oh, our forefathers used to eat carbohydrates, high carb diets. Oh, fine. But those high carb diets, they are not processed diets that break down easily in the body, that digest easily in the body and release glucose into the bloodstream. No, they mainly ate um they mainly ate complex carbs, Okay, and then they didn't live sedentary lifestyles. They were active. They worked a lot. They're not driving cars from here to here, from here to here. They are driving cars, or they're on top of a bike. They were walking. Okay, they worked a lot. They were farmers. So they didn't have this much problem because of their lifestyle. But today we try to compare our life with that of our forefathers. But we are living opposite of what they're living. We are eating opposite of what they're eating. So it is very important to go for routine checkup, okay? So that if you are pre-diabetic or you're already diabetic, it will be found early enough, not waiting for it to have affected other organs and other systems of the body or would have caused some complications. That is when you will now start going for treatment. There are some low key symptoms that you would have that would show that you are having diabetes. I want to give you my own story now. And that is because I know some of these symptoms, okay? And that is why we are making these videos for some people who are not aware. Okay, my own started because I am already predisposed because my mom is diabetic. So you can see. So my own started after writing my exams. It was very stressful. Okay, I just gave birth, and not up to a year, I joined a program, and very tedious, sleepless night, reading, and all that. So after the exams, I noticed that my visions were blurry. I was always feeling tired, headache, fatigue, frequent urination, and name all the symptoms of diabetes. I was feeling all these things, feeling kind of sick, but I'm not sick. So I knew that my blood sugar was going high. It was climbing. So I had to go and had to do blood sugar test. Sorry. So and then my blood sugar was very high indeed. I went to the hospital and I did HbA1c tests. Very, very important. I know that some of you would have been checking your random blood sugar, your fasting blood sugar. That is fine. Okay. But I can tell you that your random blood sugar, your fasting blood sugar can be normal or a little elevated, not out of the range, but your HbA1c could be high. Okay, yes, it happened to me. I've always checked my blood sugar from time to time. Or, it's not something you check every blessed day or every month or something like that. Okay, but once in a while, once in several months, I do check for my blood sugar. Okay, and sometimes they're not high. What am I saying? Sometimes, in fact, most times they are not. In fact, my blood sugar had never gone high, but for some months, I'd not checked my blood sugar. It was going up a little, a little, a little. Because that HbA1c test is usually done to check the progression of your blood sugar over some months, like 3 months or thereabout. If it is consistently high or elevated, then know that you are either pre-diabetic or you are diabetic. If it is within the range of pre-diabetic, you're pre-diabetic. If it is within the range of diabetes over the period of some month, then it means that you are diabetic. That is the main test that people should do at least once in a while. Maybe you can do it like once in 6 months. Okay, that HbA1c test is the main test for high blood sugar that people should really, really focus on doing, because you can do random blood sugar today, fasting blood sugar today, and it will be that maybe you ate well, you slept well, you are not stressed, and it will not show in that result. Yes, it's not sure. I'm telling you what I experienced. It wouldn't show in that result, but that HbA1c test would definitely show. It will definitely show that there are some activities going on here. Okay, so that is a test that I am proposing to you. I am begging you, you and your family members, especially if you have a mom or any parent who is diabetic, especially when you know you're living a sedentary lifestyle, especially when you know you don't eat well, please. And even if you are doing all these things, please still check, go to the hospital, tell them you want to do HbA1c test for your blood sugar. It's very important. That was how I went and I did it, and I saw that it was a little elevated. And they said, Madam, you are pre diabetic. We are going to place you on metformin if you don't watch it. It doesn't come down. I said, well, you can go and see a nutritionist, our nutritionist in the clinic. I said, fine, thank you. I changed my whole diet, and I changed too many things. I stayed resting, I stayed sleeping on time, and I took some herbs and everything. I changed my diet to complex carbs and all that. 2 weeks later, I stayed coming down. 3 weeks later, it was normal and perfect. My mom's story, 2013, early 2013, every time when I call her, Mommy, how are you doing? I'm sick. Every time I'm having malaria, I'm having typhoid. I said, typhoid does not just come, typhoid is not that rampant, okay? It's not an infection, not a disease that is that rampant. So go to the hospital, tell them you want to do blood sugar test. Tell them to check your BP. Tell them to do kidney and liver function test, because this has become out of hands. It's getting out of hands. It's becoming too much. She said, okay, I'll do it. I don't know whether she did it or not. But what happened? Early 2014, she came to my house for Omugo. I gave birth in 2013, December. She came for Mugo because of stress, beating me, beating the baby. And then our neighbor had a baby. She was also taking care of that baby. She was also beating that baby because the mother of that woman didn't come. So imagine the stress. Imagine the stress. And she broke down. And when she was rushed to the hospital, I called the doctor. I said, please, doctor, check these things that I mean, check her blood sugar, check her BP. Say they've checked BP, everything. Normally they do check BP when you come in, your temperature and your pulse and the rest. I said, please check her blood sugar. Please, you push not, let it not be the same story of malaria and typhoid. I don't think this is malaria and typhoid. This is beyond malaria and typhoid. Check her liver, check her kidney. The doctor said, okay. Are you a doctor? I said, no, but I'm a biochemist. So I know some of these things. The doctor said, okay, we're going to do that. And when they checked her blood sugar, do you know how many it was? 560 something. The doctor shouted, and the doctor was like, woman, and you are still alive, walking about, you're not in coma. This could be God. She was that lucky. You may not be that lucky. You listening to me, you may not be that lucky. Even if you go to the hospital, you always sick, you always falling sick, you're always having this recurrent feverish condition, blurry vision, frequent urination, and fatigue and all that, and you go to the clinic, and every time they'll just spread malaria meds and give to you. You demand for it. It's your right. Demand for that test. Tell them you want to do HbA1c test. Tell them they should check your fasting blood sugar and your random blood sugar. Demand for it. The earlier, the better for you. This is your life we are talking about. Okay, so this is my story. And I know that so many people are moving about with this kind of situation, with this kind of condition, and they don't know until when something happens to them, until when they're exposed to unbearable stress. And that is when they will find out that this is a problem. I heard a story that a man collapsed and they rushed him to the hospital, and they found out that his sugar was 540 something. 540 something, and it has damaged so many things in his body. My mom was lucky, but that man wasn't lucky. So please, this is a very, very important topic. Prevention is better than cure. It's less expensive than cure. Today, I want you to take charge of your health. And as we do so, God will help us in Jesus' name. Amen.